forward in that way.
Mr. Escott, do you have anything to add to that?
I guess during the original meeting of the renewal, the last renewal, there was a comment made about the validity of the renewal. As a result of that comment, the administration made a formal request to the Attorney General's office for an opinion related to the validity of the renewal. I have received within the last couple of days the formal written opinion to that question. So we are in the process of reviewing, analyzing, determining what the Attorney General's opinion talks about in that issue. And then obviously once that analysis and discussions occur with the administration, it's going to include a discussion of what, if anything, needs to be done going forward. It's my understanding that Mayor President Robideau is aware of keeping the council apprised of those steps and discussions. And so I suspect in the not too distant future, we'll have some more discussions about what, if anything, needs to be done.
Okay. I know that's all you can go into at this point, so thank you, Mr. Escott.
Sure.
I'll give it for now. Thank you, guys. Just please, future, let's see what we can do. Otherwise, 6 months or 3 months, you guys are going to be back before us again. We like you, but we don't like you that much, okay?
Please let me know on Fridays. I mean, Friday, Saturday, I work. So please let me know, and we will jump on it.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, we got some more council members. Mr. Bellard.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to thank the council staff because they did a tremendous job. Besides the missed pickup, which we're fixing and moving forward, same thing with my district, it's not acceptable. But one of the things that gives me the biggest heartburn is our council office turned into a call center. And I know that y'all not in charge of y'all own call center, but y'all higher ups, whoever it is, it's not working. The call center never told these people it was a crisis, it was a missed picked up, it just rang, rang, rang. So who do they call? All of us up here or the council staff. I can take the calls, that's what I signed up to do, but that's not fair to our council staff. So I would ask each one of you to go to whoever's higher up, get a local call center. Why do we have to call, and I don't know if it's Houston or where the call center is, but when they call there and don't get the answer they want, or if the person doesn't know them, and it's always, this isn't just because it's missed pickup, this has been going on. They call the council staff, and that's not their job. And they did a great job of picking up the slack for all of us. But that's something I want y'all to look into, if possible, is can we get a local call center? I don't know the cost involved. I know the contract's done. But that's something we need to talk about, if this contract, whoever gets it next, is have local people in a local call center. That goes a long way. But tell whoever's in charge of that, because I know that y'all not directly in charge of that particular deal. It's not working. It never has worked. They didn't know that everybody was being missed. So even someone to say, hey, look, there's a crisis going on in your area. Tell them the reason for why. That was never told or anything. And it's maybe not the person in Houston's fault either. They might not have known. So I guess the public didn't know what was going on and was just calling the council staff over and over again. And once again, I'd like to compliment my council staff, our council staff, because they did a heck of a job. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I have.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Bellard.
Can I make a real quick comment regarding that? The program that I mentioned will substantially, will fix a lot of the problems with the call center. When people call in, they will go actually onto their address. So a lot of the issues that we've had with the call center, this new system we have coming into place will fix a lot of that. But we'll definitely take everything you said and we'll discuss.
Right, it's not working, and I know y'all trying y'all best, but that's something that can be a quick fix. No one got sick, you know what I'm saying? That, and even a local one. I mean, like I said, I don't know the cost involved. This might be something y'all don't want to incur, but maybe for the next contract, I'd ask the administration to look into us having a local one. It does make a difference because I guarantee you that next person they're calling is us up here or the council staff. And it's always been bad. I hate to be the truth, but it is. And I know it's not y'all who doing it, but whoever y'all can tell it's not working and have them fix it. But thank you. And thanks for coming.
Councilman Liz.
Thank you, Chairman. Really, what I was going to say was mostly stolen by Councilman Bellard, so thank you, Jared, for taking the words right out of my mouth. Was the biggest center for me is the call center. I don't think anyone's expecting perfection, because none of us are perfect. But, you know, of course, we've had this perfect storm, and I hesitate to use the word storm in these council chambers, but it's been a tough few months for you guys, and I see improvement in my district. I wish Councilman Terrio would be here so I can reiterate what you said, is that you and Steve have both been a huge help, and you have personally gone out yourselves in your own personal vehicles and picked up trash in my district on the weekend after hours for me, as sometimes as late as 10:30 at night, and on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday night. So I was just going to say to Councilman Terrio was to please contact Nicole. My council members email me, let me know what days it's picked up, if it's the whole street or just their house. You guys have gone out, so I was just going to let him know, and if anyone else has a Friday pickup, because you guys have always done that. But reiterate, definitely a local call center. I know there's a lot of frustration with calling somewhere, they don't know what we're talking about, what area, who, what. So if something that can be fixed before the next contract, why wait? If that's something y'all are able to do, and you and I have discussed that already, so I'd love to see that done.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much. Appreciate all the work you're doing.
Thank you, Liz. Councilman Boudreaux.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions and one request. The call center, is the call center for Lafayette only, or is it for Republic services throughout the country?
For public services.
Okay, so that's why we don't have a local call center, because it's a company call center for all your contracts everywhere. And I would venture to say that as robust as our contract may be, it's certainly not large enough to where there's going to be a commitment for a local call center. Although we did have one in the Norgate Mall. One of the speakers earlier said it looked like a ghost town, but we used to have one, but they left too, like most do. My issue is not going to be tied to a crisis, because when a crisis happens, everyone gets worked up. But when it happens just regularly, it kind of flies under the radar. So my issue is, I don't know what's the mapping. I've heard today that y'all worked on some things, it seemed like specifically in 8 and 9. But I get reports of missed pickups, and I've come to understand if you make one wrong turn, you could miss a whole neighborhood. But that was then, I don't know what type of mapping is being used, but that is still the biggest complaint I get. I got an email today. Okay, and that's the thing, the crisis, people say the crisis is over, it depends on who you talk to. I got an email today of someone who says an entire street was missed. So my hope and suggestions is that the efforts is not just when these huge things happen. I mean, with all of the technology that's available to us today on making sure we don't miss, I think something can be done there. But there's always been one component of this contract I have never, ever been in agreement with, and that is the reported miss verification, okay? I accept it because that is what has been signed. But to Joel, to Mark, to legal, going forward, if there's anything that could be done, and it's not just the 4-day event that maybe someone on a Friday pickup may experience, but it's just anything, because when a person is accustomed to that can being serviced at a certain time, and I realize it's in that 24-hour cycle, there's nothing in the contract that say you get service at 10 o'clock. I've had those tough conversations with my community. But when they're accustomed to 10 o'clock on Wednesday, they put out on Tuesday night, and by 10 on Wednesday, they know their can has been serviced. When it has not been serviced, then they have to wait that time, whether they call in the council office, whether they call in a call center, or whether they know somebody and they got a direct line. I think we have to come up with a better way to report and verify a miss. And we certainly cannot be dependent upon our contractor to do that on our constituents' behalf. That in whatever comes in the future, I just really do believe that that has to be addressed. It's just too great a burden on a resident because they're frustrated already. They just looking for something to happen immediately. And that is one aspect of the contract that I've always been, we could do better. I don't know what the answer is, but I'm willing to work with them. I'm not on Public Works liaison at this time, but maybe the liaison team and the administration of Public Works could look at some options. But to have to call it, then, as Mark said, we've crippled them with only having 2 inspectors, which is another one of those service issues that we ask for a lot, but we give very little. And that's 2 people not just doing inspections on missed pickups. They inspect other things. There's other things they have to do. So, and we can't get a verification until they go out. So I don't know how we improve of that with pictures and emails or using technology in some way, but we have to improve in that area. And who's the number to call to get after 10 o'clock pickups in your neighborhood?
You have my number.
Yeah, but I ain't saw y'all in my neighborhood after no 10 o'clock. We might need to talk about that. I heard that we gonna come tomorrow, I promise you, but I ain't heard nobody say I'm coming after 10. But I'm gonna leave that one right there for now. We're gonna talk about that one next month.
Thank you, Mr. Boudreaux. Mr. Pat Lewis.
Yes, I remember when we approved the contract, and if I can remember correctly, about timely pickup, and I think that was a failure on your part. Because I remember specifically saying it would be picked up on a timely basis. So I guess we need to try and work on that and see, like Mr. Terrio was saying, everyone else was talking about earlier. But in my in my area that I represent, where the constituent are complaining a lot is that the trash is being picked up early in the morning, around 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm sure maybe there's being picked up somewhere else as early as well too. I don't know, but that's my question. Is that a routine that is being done everywhere, early pickup at 4? I mean, I even heard 4 o'clock. I just didn't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it now. 4 o'clock in the morning. That's pretty early.
So
Go ahead.
I'm going to answer the first part, and then I'll let Derek take over. So our contract allows for certain times, and I think the start time is 4 a.m. and the latest is 8 a.m. and it has to do with the noise ordinance. So we typically have drivers on the road by 4:30, but we're making some adjustments to that, and you may want to.
Yeah. Well, currently this week we're doing some restructuring to make sure that the entire week is successful, Monday through Friday. Along with, to your point, we're also looking into not just Friday and Thursday as sort of a reroute, but we're redesigning the whole area. But we are also looking at start times. And as of this week, we've started at 5:30 to readjust our start times to make sure that your residents are, a lot of people might forget to put their containers out the night before, and very few people are waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning to ensure that their containers are out at the road before 4 a.m. So by staggering our time, hopefully we're able to service more of your residents within your areas during our allotted time during the day. I believe we can pick up until 8 o'clock at night. So,
The noise ordinance, I was wrong. It's at 5. So our drivers typically come in at 4:30 and then are on the road for 5. So I just wanted to correct myself.
Is there anything in that's going to be happening soon to address it, to help the disabled and the elderly? Because I know there's an ordinance right now, within so many hours, they have to bring their trash can or the trash bin in the back, or do y'all have anything in place to help them?
So we recently got a shipment of carts in for the disabled and for the elderly. They're smaller carts.
Good.
We've been working with Public Works on that, and so anyone who's now calling in asking because they're elderly or
I
because
can't hear you too well.
I'm sorry, if they're calling in because they're elderly or disabled, we now have smaller carts that we're delivering to those people who are requesting it.
So it can be someone that's probably maybe one person in the house doesn't
Correct.
have that much trash, and they're not disabled or
Correct.
handicapped or disabled.
Yes, so
or
instead of a
elderly,
96-gallon cart, they're, I think, 65.
65, so they can just call.
All they have to do is call, or
Call
if
the
one of your,
council, they call the council or they call Republic.
whoever they want. If you get the request, you forward it to me, and I'll get it delivered the next day.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. I think that's the final council discussion. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for giving us an update. And, you know, nobody's perfect. We understand there's going to be glitches, but hopefully you have heard the concern from the council staff and the council, and our cry to you, because our constituents, you know, they demand great service and they hold us accountable, from administration to the council to you guys. So any improvements, any updates software-wise, anything that you're going to be doing now and in the future to improve this and prevent this from happening, keeping the council and keeping us updated would be very, very much appreciated. And, you know, hopefully I don't have to call you at 10 o'clock, but I promise you if I call, I'd like somebody to be out there to help me. So,
We will be there.
okay, all right. Hold on one second. Mr. Terrio.
Mr. Dubrock, one final thing before you leave, sorry, caught you. We did not mention the total of fines. To your knowledge right now, what are the fine amounts, just guesstimate that you're seeing because of the...
For the invoice we received from February, it looks like it's $27,500.
And that is the total amount for all the missed pickups from what time frame to when?
For the month of February.
For the month of February. All
And,
right.
I mean, day to day, I don't know that, it may be the 3rd, from the 3rd to the 3rd, but it was for the month essentially of February.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it. Are there any blue cards?
Yes, sir. We do have one speaker, Wallace, Senegal.
Okay.
Good evening again, gentlemen. I hope the Republican people haven't left yet, because I got a few concerns. I live in the 70501 area code, and I called them a whole week one time. My garbage was supposed to be picked up on a Monday. Well, I figured by 5 o'clock Monday evening, they ain't picking up. Tuesday morning, I give them a call, we coming. 5 o'clock Tuesday, not there. Wednesday morning, call them again, we'll be there. Well, my garbage stayed out from the Monday to the Monday because they told me they was coming. Debris pickup, you know. I see the debris truck come around, got a big old shovel on the side of it, but when they get through picking up the debris, it's all on the ground. They won't even take the shovel off the truck to try to clean it up, you know. And I love the neighborhood I live in. I try to keep it clean. When I get a chance, I ask the people to not throw trash in the street, you know. But the garbage man leave just more trash in the street than the people put in the street. So those are some of the complaints I have, and I'm glad y'all gave me the opportunity to vent some of my frustration. Thank you, Mr. Terrio. You're a good man. You pressure them to do a lot of things that they're supposed to be done. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you so much. Any other speakers? All right, can you please call the roll?
The discussion.
No discussion.
Vote on what?
Next ordinance.
Oh, never mind. We got so long-winded on this talking trash. Hey, talk so much if I fall asleep. All right, let's move right along to ordinance for final adoption. Now, Jeremy, can you read, and now we can vote.
Ordinance 24, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to sell at public auction surplus vehicles, equipment, and other miscellaneous movable property which are no longer needed for public purposes as per the attached list auction.
Motion by Councilman Bellard, second by Councilman Cook. Any council discussion? Seeing none. Public comments?
Yes, sir.
Call the roll.
District 2? District 3? District 4?
Yes.
District 5? District 6?
Yes.
District 7? District 8? District 9? District 1?
Yes.
Motion is approved. Ordinance 25, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to sell at internet auction miscellaneous surplus LCG movable property which are no longer needed for public purposes as per the attached list auction.
Motion by Councilman Bellard, second by Councilman Cook. Any council discussion? Seeing none. Public comment?
No, sir.
Call the roll, please.
District 3? Yes. District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9? District 1?
Yes.
District 2? Motion is approved. Ordinance 26, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to sell one surplus CEIA portable magnetic static detector which is no longer needed for public purposes to Metrosons Incorporated for a total price of $12,995 detector.
Motion by Councilman Bellard, second by Councilman Lewis. Any council discussion? Seeing none. Public comment?
No, sir.
Call the roll, please.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7? District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
Motion is approved. Ordinance 27, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to sell at an internet auction miscellaneous surplus LCG movable property which are no longer needed for public purposes as per the attached list auction.
Councilman Bellard with the motion and Councilman Cook with a quick second. Any council discussion? Seeing none. Public comment?
No, sir.
All right, call the roll, please.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3? District 4? Motion is approved. Ordinance 28, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to sell at private sale certain surplus immovable property located at 164 Twin Oaks Boulevard, Lafayette, Louisiana, which are no longer needed for public purposes.
Got a motion by Councilman Lewis. Second. Got a second by Ms. Cook. Any council discussion? No public comment?
Sir.
All right, please call the roll.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2? District 3? District 4? District 5? Motion is approved. Ordinance 30, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council declaring the building or structure located at 317 Justin Street, Lafayette, Louisiana, owned by TIG Holdings Incorporated, care of Michael J. Monroe, President, to be dilapidated and dangerous to the public welfare and ordering the condemnation of same.
Motion by Councilman Terrio, second by Ms. Cook. Not seeing any council discussion. Any public comment? Any public comment?
No, sir.
All right. I know how you feeling over there. It's all good. Please call a vote.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2? District 3? District 4? District 5? District 6? Motion is approved. Ordinance 31, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement between the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government and the Louisiana Department of Children and Family Services concerning the use of the Hyman Performing Arts Center and Frem F. Bustani Convention Center as a medical special needs shelter during an emergency or disaster.
Motion by Councilman Bellard. Second by Councilman Boudreaux. Council discussion, Mr. Terrio.
One quick question. Mr. Robideau, I don't know if you want to get I'm okay with this. I think one question was posed to me is that it's going to be a special needs shelter during an emergency or disaster. Will it be confined only to special needs during an emergency or disaster, or will they want to make sure that others would be involved? They won't be just designated in the event that the regular public would also be needed to.
My understanding is that the special needs members of society would be given preferential treatment. It will be the special needs facility first and foremost. I don't know, I don't think we're allowed to mix, so it'll be a state-sponsored special needs center.
So only, and in the event we have another emergency center, public would be directed somewhere else.
That is my understanding, but it looks like I'm being bailed out by one of our
Okay,
finest.
well, it's far
so-
away.
Brandon Miguez, I work for the Department of Children and Family Services.
sir.
So yes, it's a medical special needs shelter, and it's designated for members of the public that, not necessarily bad enough to be in a hospital, but if the some power issues, some flooding issues, they could get in trouble at home. Those individuals are triaged by LDH, and we work in a partnership to run the shelter. So that shelter is designated strictly for medical special needs. Dr. Guidry at the state decides when it's going to be open, if it's going to be opened at all. So it's not a general population shelter at all.
So, and you know as well as I do, better than I do, that actually at a time of a disaster, there's a lot of chaos.
Correct.
People are not knowing where to go, so somehow the public's going to have to be made very much and very clear that this is not where you can go, and it's going to have to.
Correct. And traditionally, we don't like to open those shelters south of I-10. So this is we have other shelters, the Pete Maravich Assembly Center, we have McNeese, we have shelters throughout the state that serve the same purpose. So this one wouldn't necessarily be used, it's just in case we do need it.
Okay, so, very much. Thank you, guys. That's all I need.
All right. Mr. Lewis?
What about the family members? They go there too, and how many?
So the medical special needs shelter is designated to hold 160 people. It holds 80 patients and then 80 caretakers. So that's the extent of the medical special needs shelter. Now the state operates critical transportation needs shelters that are further up north. At the mega shelter, you'll probably seen that happening with Texas. Those shelters are designed to move people out of harm's way. New Orleans, Calcasieu Parish, other parishes. So this shelter is not designed to hold family members, to answer your question.
Just the, and also you see it's not for the family members per se, it's for the caregivers.
Whoever that caretaker may be, they're authorized one caretaker.
One caretaker. Okay, thank you.
All right. Not seeing any more council discussion, any public comment? Please call the roll.
District 8,
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5? District 6?
Yes.
District 7? Motion is approved. Ordinance 32, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 17-18 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to close out the renovation Station Number 2 project within the Lafayette Fire Department by transferring $30,000 to the renovation Station Number 8 project and transferring the remaining balance of $138,000 to fund balance within the City Sales Tax Capital Improvement Fund 401.
Okay. Need a motion in a second? Motion by Councilman Bellard, a second by Councilman Cook, and Councilman Boudreaux for council discussion. You have the floor, sir.
Yes, I see Deputy Chief Blackwell is here tonight. He might need to come forward, and if you could have Lori, I would like explanation, detailed as to what we are doing and why we are doing it. Moving capital money has become a issue with great contingency out of fear of no return. And I've been one who has been open to the movement of money for various reasons, to get projects moving, to address issues related to bonds and cash pay as you go. I think it works better when an explanation is given and people have understanding. The thing that concerns me about this is that we're taking 30 to go to another project, but the information in the explanation says that as far as Station 2 is concerned, that we didn't nearly budget enough money to take care of the issues that need to be taken care of, basically, for lack of a better phrase. which concerns me because now we're zeroing it out and gonna ultimately end up starting from scratch, which I'm concerned about that. There was, the previous years, there was no money budgeted. We put this 168 in, and now it's moving. So I need to know what's happening and why, and then what happens to 2. That we didn't just pull a project out the air. There's work that need to be done that is disappearing somehow. So that's where I would like to start.
Okay. First off, good evening. How y'all doing? But the Station 8 project, let's start with that. Station 8, we budgeted 75,000 to do renovations to Station 8. The station was dated, I think it's 34 years since we done anything to the building. And we addressed the air handling system. We had mildew issues. The living condition for the guys was getting bad, to say the least. So when we started this project at Station 8, we then had a freeze event. And with the freeze event, the sprinkler system burst in the ceiling in the attic of the apparatus room, causing damage to the insulation. We were taking it down anyway, but the insulation wasn't going to be replaced as part of that project. And the first thing the contractor had to do was we had to get a sprinkler contractor to go repair the sprinkler system. Then we had to pay additional funds to get the insulation replaced. Well, about 2 or 3 weeks past that first freeze event, we had another freeze event. And the same thing happened, and the reason it happened was the station was unoccupied. So we had the exact same thing happen. The only difference in this situation was the contractor had installed a new ceiling. So we had damage to the newly installed ceiling, and we had to take that down and have the sprinkler system repaired again. And I want to say the Public Works project manager got with I want to say the architect, Bob Scheffler, and they came up with a plan to resolve this sprinkler system bursting issue, which was going to cost an additional close to $30,000. They're going to do like a spray foam installation in the attic of the apparatus room to resolve that sprinkler system bursting issue for the freeze. So that's where the $30,000 is coming from. For the Station 2 project, the Station 2 project was actually born because we have more female firefighters right now. And the station is not gender friendly, which means the female firefighters are exposed or not exposed in a bad way, but our sleeping quarters are just open. There's no privacy. So the first thought was to basically do cosmetic changes to Station 2. We needed to change tile. We had air handling issues over there as well. And we needed to do some reconditioning to the apparatus room. And I revisited the station and presented it to the fire chief. And he agreed that the station was not gender friendly. So what we decided was that we can actually move the kitchen, which is upstairs and smaller, to a downstairs area. There's a porch on that building that's never used for anything. We can actually close that porch, make the the day room larger, which would in turn give us more room upstairs to make a more gender-friendly and female privacy, provide privacy for our female firefighters. Now, we don't have females at the station all the time, but we do have 5 female firefighters right now, and hopefully to get more. And if we do get more female firefighters, then we need to see that this need to be taken care of moving forward to the future. And as a firefighter, we do look to publications. You know, I read Firehouse magazines, and I see the problems that other agencies across the country deal with as far as female firefighters suing the city and fire departments for privacy.
So let me ask you this. At 8, you have some environmental concerns.
Right.
At 2, you have gender-friendly concerns.
Right.
So that was the purpose of 2. So who and where and how the decision was made? Okay, you're taking 30, and I don't know what's the budget, because I want to know what's extensive. I opened the book, it says, more extensive renovations are needed for Station 2.
Right.
Therefore, appropriate funding will be requested next year. But you're taking 138. After you take the 30 and you're putting it back into the general fund, and I don't understand that move.
Well, that right there, sir, I can't answer that question. You would probably have to I'm gonna deflect or defer to the mayor, and he probably can answer that question for you.
No, that would be me. That was Chief Benoit and I got together when this whole thing came up, and instead of just keeping that $138,000 sitting there for the entire budget year, we knew we would have to come back and with a higher figure to fix Station 2. So I asked him to put it back into Fund 401. There was no rhyme or reason except that we weren't going to be touching it. It's no use sitting it there, keeping it there, if we weren't going to use it for 2018.
Did he have the numbers of what it's going to take to do what they need to do at 2?
I'm not sure he did at the time, because it was pretty. It was a lot more than.
We didn't have the numbers for Station 2. We did have the numbers before we made the decision to go gender friendly. When we were just doing cosmetic changes, that number was satisfactory. But when we looked at the gender issue, we didn't have enough money.
Because, 401, I mean, I know our sales tax collections have dipped, but, I view 401 as still healthy, 3-4%. And capital is hard to come by. I'm talking about projects itself to get them started. We know that. And when I saw the entire thing going away, the 30 I wasn't as concerned about as it is the balance of that now it's going away. So when you zero out a project, the project no longer exists. I've started projects with zero funding. This is the first time I've taken a project and made it zero funding. That feels very funny. I've never seen it done before.
Well, and as I guess from our viewpoint, we have hopes that the city would give us the money to move forward with this project next year. So I think we're confident in the fact that everybody would and should understand where we're going with this, and they would do right by the fire department. We also have a gender-friendly issue at Station 3 as well. So I'm thinking if anybody would go visit the station, I'm thinking Lowell did go visit that station with the fire chief, if we would put an additional bed in the bedroom at Station 3, we would have one big king bed. Everybody be rolling around in the same, the bedroom is just too small. And that's what we have. When those stations were designed, it wasn't designed with today's climate as a factor.
Lord, do you have an actual on the Station 8 renovation by any chance? No. They've been working at 8 this whole time? This entire time?
The entire time since when? We started the Station 8 project, I want to say early February, and it's scheduled to be finished probably mid-April.
February of last year.
February this year. That Station 8 project, I want to say it started early February, maybe to late January. So that Station 8 project probably hasn't been going on for no more than 6 or 7 weeks, and they scheduled to finish it mid-April. It's not a big project for the contractor. He's moving pretty fast on it.
Okay, and I'm just going by the budget book. They showing activity dating back to April of 17. So.
At Station 8?
Yeah.
Well, at Station 8, if you're looking at an activity date for Station 8 of April of 17, they actually went in there and started replacing air conditioners, the outside units.
That's what I'm saying. The work has been ongoing ever since at 8?
Well, not the
money?
construction, not the construction, just the air conditioners on the outside. Air Plus, they replaced all of the air conditioners. I think for the city, they changed to that new
Let
system.
me ask Lo this. Lo, y'all found a shortage? That's why y'all made the change? There was a shortage that y'all discovered,
in
you and
8.
Chief? In 8?
In 8, correct. There was a shortage in 8. He needed the 30,000 to complete the
Sprinkler system.
installation.
Installation.
All right.
Mr. Boudreau, also, I committed to Chief Benoit that we would take care of 2 whenever he was ready to, whenever he had all the figures in next year for the budget, that I committed to work with him on fixing 2 with all of the changes that he needed.
Okay, and like I said, you know, I have supported the movement of money to avoid future problems. I've supported the movement of money to stay timely in projects. I would suggest that we communicate a little greater, because you know how we look at these budget books and these capital projects. If you all could consider making us aware, because when I see this, it gets a little scary. It's like a project is literally disappearing. I'm glad that there's a commitment for it to come back, but if the department or the administration could relay that to us, I think we would have, among this council, I think people would have a better understanding of why from time to time to get projects going. I agree, I don't want it just sitting there doing nothing, but we need to do things, you know, and if we start, you know, saying this one before that one, you could get lost in the shuffle. So I'll support it, but in the future, we could just spread the word a little greater. We probably would be able to avoid some of this. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Boudreau. Not seeing any other council discussion. Any public comment? Okay, please call the roll.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8? Motion is approved. Ordinance 33, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 17-18 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by transferring $1,494,665.13 from various projects to the Parish Bridge Improvements Project within the Public Works Department to facilitate the expenditure of earlier issued bond funds.
Motion by Councilman Terrio, second by Councilman Boudreau. Not seeing any council discussion. Any comments from the public? All right, please call the roll.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7? District 8? District 9?
Yes.
Motion is approved. Ordinance 34, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the official map of the city of Lafayette, providing for the annexation of additional land into the corporate limits of the city of Lafayette, Louisiana, 1107 Rue de Bellier et al. Annexation located generally north of Ridge Road, east of Rue de Bellier, and south of West Congress Street, which is located within Lafayette City Parish Council District Number 5 for voting purposes.
Okay, need a motion and a second? Motion by Councilman Boudreau, second by Ms. Liz. Councilman Liz, and not seeing any council discussion. Any public comments? Please call the roll.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8? District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion is approved.
All right, now we're going to move to introductory ordinances. I'd ask for a motion and a second to consider in globo. Motion by Councilman Conk and second by Councilman Liz. Chairman, can you please read?
Ordinance 36, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council declaring the Facile Road Bridge Replacement Project a public necessity and authorizing the acquisition of the necessary rights-of-way, immovable property, and other property rights requisite to the construction of said project, either on an amicable basis or through the use of the expropriation process if necessary. Ordinance 37, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 17-18 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by transferring $351,640.33 from the Doc Douillon Robley Drive Extension Phase 4 project to the Polly Lane Extension Phase 1 project within the Public Works Department for additional funding needed. Ordinance 38, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 17-18 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by transferring $30,000 from the Castile Street Turn Lane project to the Pecan, Buick, Pine, Chester Streets Sidewalks project within the Public Works Department for additional funding needed. Ordinance 39, 2018. Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the filing of a grant application with the Louisiana Office of State Parks for a Land and Water Conservation Program grant for the Nature Station. Ordinance 40, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the filing of a grant application with the National Academy of Sciences, Engineering, Medicine for a Golf Research Program grant for the Nature Station. Ordinance 41, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council declaring the building or structure located at 421 Daffodil Loop, Lafayette, Louisiana, owned by Leonce Boutte Sr. and Monica Ann Ozine, care of Gerald J. Block, attorney appointed, to be dilapidated and dangerous to the public welfare and ordering the condemnation of same. Ordinance 42, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council amending the fiscal year 17-18 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by transferring $193,197.93 from the Rosa Parks Center AOC construction account into the bus monitoring equipment account within the Public Works Department Transit Division to allow for the purchase of ADA announcement equipment, bus tracking equipment, security cameras, and related equipment. Ordinance 43, 2018, an ordinance of the Lafayette City Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into a joint collaboration agreement with CGI Federal Incorporated, establishing the rights and obligations of Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government and CGI Federal Incorporated relative to the Nome Nation application.
All right, any comments from the public?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, vote.
Oh, I'm ready to roll.
Boy, he's ready to go.
All right, call the vote, please.
District 3?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 9?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Okay, now, meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great evening. Be safe. See you next time.
This was tiring. It was just painful. It was all talk. Yes, exactly. It was all talk. I just pretty much called it out.
Oh, buddy, I'll tell you what.
I can't put it like that because I can't tell my boss that my job is full.
Today, it was just today.
Why,